Because it sounds pretty scary, doesn't it? Like delving into your deep unconscious. Oh, sweetie, it's about you. I had a belief when I grew up that men don't like beetroot. We get presented with the world that we expect to see. I saw men everywhere eating beetroot. I honestly want people to get what will help them transform their lives. Keep going. Step into the unknown and have the adventure, because I promise you what's on the other side of that is going to be extraordinary.
Lovely. Well, let's get started. Hello, everyone.
Let's get started.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jackie, and welcome to Reflections on Health podcast. I'm here with a special guest today, Cat. She's been my mentor for a few years, and she's an excellent lady with a lot of wisdom. So I'm very, very happy to have her on. Welcome, Cat.
Oh, thank you. A bit nervous about the wisdom bit, but apart from that, yeah.
Awesome.
Maybe a lot of lived experience.
Yeah. That's wisdom.
I guess it is. Yeah.
Awesome. So, Kat, I just want to start with a bit of an overview. What is it that you do?
Yeah, great question. All right. So what I do is that I mainly work with coaches, complementary therapists, and help them to become successful in living their passion. What I'm passionate about is the training courses that I run for people who want to become inner work coaches or transformation coaches. And then I also do a little bit still of one-on-one coaching for people who are really stuck and just want to push through and change what's happening in their lives. So that's what I do.
Beautiful. So what is a coach, or what is an inner work coach?
Yeah, really great question. So a lot of people go, are you a life coach, or do you train people to become life coaches? And I feel that that's not what I do, because my definition of a life coach is someone who tells you what to do, and how to sort your life out. And that is definitely not the arena I work in. I help people work at that, anything that feels unresourceful for them, any habits, patterns, blocks, emotional triggers that are not working for them, behaviors they have that are not working for them. What I help them with is work at a really deep unconscious level to make that go away, basically, to reprogram the unconscious, if that makes sense.
Beautiful. Do you have an example or a story of this?
Yeah, so many. I guess what I'd love to do is use one from my life, because it's what I love about this work is the only way you can become proficient as a coach in this is to actually do the work yourself. And so many examples where this has helped me change the way I show up in the world. I guess a really big one, I used to be absolutely terrified of public humiliation, to the point that I would not play social tennis or even board games at times, because I did not, there's something within me, it was completely irrational, and I just had a visceral, super fearful response to going out in public and making a fool of myself. Through this work, what I discovered was that there was an event in my childhood at 18 months old where I was with my aunts and uncles. It was at somebody's birthday, and they decided to feed me little sips of beer. They thought it was really cute. What happened was that I became roaring drunk, and they thought it was hilarious. All right. My mum came in, exploded, and picked me up, threw me in a bed with a bottle, and left me to sleep it off. Now, what came up when I did this work was that I felt that I was dying and that nobody was coming to my rescue, and that they were all laughing at me and thought it was hilarious that I was so unwell. And that created behaviors and strategies moving forward that really didn't help me, didn't serve me at all. Now, what was so extraordinary, I didn't remember the event at all. When I shared this with my mum, she just went, "Oh yeah, I know what that was." And I was staggered because I went, "Oh, it was real." Because I know we can store memories in all sorts of ways. And she said to me, "Yeah, that's exactly what happened." And I, yeah, put you in a bed literally to sleep it off. And she just looked at me and went, "I had no idea. I never even considered the effect it would have on you." And I just looked at her and went, "Well, how could you? I was 18 months old. How could you?" You know? And I think that's what happens for so many of us, that we make things mean something about us when they actually don't. And as a child, you don't have any higher order thinking to deal with that. So what this work does, it deals with all that unconscious stuff that we have no idea. We just think it's us, it's who we are. And it's not who we are. It's just survival strategies we've created. Yeah.
Mm, what a
Yeah.
powerful story. I had goosebumps the entire time you were telling that story. I just think it's so powerful, and it's such an excellent example of how this work can sort of unlock those, unconscious beliefs and patterns and the things that have happened so early on that we don't even realize affect us at all. But, they powerfully impact our life in a subconscious way.
Yeah. What was so extraordinary, I didn't even realize that I'd had this huge transformation. All right. Because I was just doing life. And it wasn't until I went out, I've got 4 adult children, and we went to a bar and we were playing pool. And then we went somewhere else and they had a dartboard. And I went, "Oh, darts, I'll go and get the darts." And they just all went, "Stop. Who even are you? What's going on here? You never do this." We didn't even want to say anything about playing pool because we didn't want you to notice you were doing it. And I just went, "Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's not even a thing anymore." And it was just gone.
Mm.
Just gone. Yeah. So extraordinary.
Amazing. Yeah. Yeah. I find that you just forget things impacted you once they're gone until something happens in your mind and you're like, "Oh, I don't have this thing anymore."
Oh no, I look back at who I was, and my life has transformed so much just through these processes, that it's like, oh, I can now have so much love and compassion for that poor, scared, micromanaging, um, rescuing, overachieving, fearful person that was just trying to do the best she could and was terrified that she wasn't enough. It was so unresourceful and so fear-based. Like, the whole thing was, in retrospect, I didn't know that at the time, but yeah, in retrospect, it was so scary, poor darling. And yeah, now it's not like that.
Absolutely. That's beautiful. Amazing transformation. It's amazing what can happen when you start to unlock this work and go into it.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure is.
Do you have an example, or can give us a bit of outline about what these processes involved and what do they kind of look like?
Yeah, because it sounds pretty scary, doesn't it? Like delving into your deep unconscious. And people go, "I don't remember anything." And that's like, of course you don't. Of course you don't. Okay, because your unconscious stores all of your memories. It has everything that's ever happened to you. And it only brings to the consciousness what it feels is important. So the beautiful thing in this work, basically what the process is, it's a very trancy process. You sit there with your eyes closed and you just coach through these questions, and you're just responding to the questions and just giving yourself permission to say whatever comes up. All right. Because the unconscious is only going to bring up for resolution what it feels it's now safe to bring up. So that it's this revelation, I guess, And so many people at the end of the process go, oh, wow, I don't remember that, or wow, I'd never thought that that had the impact on me that it did, or all of these things, because, you know, we just get on with it. Our unconscious wants us to get through the world and live and thrive. And so it's not going to burden us with things that we can't resolve until we can resolve them. So yeah, but basically it's just a really beautiful, it's not hypnosis, and the client is always in control. And it's just this beautiful transit process about, you know, understanding why and resourcing yourself so that, you know, while we can't change the past, we can certainly change what we made it mean about us at the time. So yeah, that's what it's about.
Beautiful.
Mm.
I've heard it be described as auto magic. It's one of the words.
Yes. Yeah. 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 It is. It is. It's just extraordinary, because just by going through the process, you are rewiring that old programming. And then it's done, you know, and then you can supplement that because clearly you can't do this work for every single event in your life that's ever given you a feeling or ever triggered you or ever done that. But what you can do, then you supplement this work with so much understanding about how your mind-made stories affect your life and how you get to choose whether or not you're going to, or how you respond to them. All right. And that's where we take our power back, because we can't control people and events as much as we would like to. And that's what most of us try to do. That's what I tried to do, is micromanage life so that everything was the way I wanted it to be. Didn't work. And we can't control our thoughts because they're there before we even realize they're there. But what we can do is take charge and choose how we respond to those thoughts. And that's where our power comes from. And that's where, in all of this work, learning that, it becomes so much easier to quieten the mind. So it's just white noise in the background and not running your life.
Absolutely. So what would you do in addition to this, sort of on a day-to-day? Are there other processes or things that you think about as you're going through the day, and, you know, maybe something challenging happens or something triggers you?
Yeah. And of course things do, right? Because they do. It's, yes, what I do now is I always, if I'm having a feeling about something, and by feel, I mean a negative emotion comes up, irritation, anger, frustration, resentment, all of that. Okay. I now notice, I stop and I go, what's actually going on here? Because I know that the reaction is about me, not about what happened. And so, okay, what's really going on here? And it could be, oh yeah, I'm feeling like they don't respect me. And then I go, okay, is that really important? Is it true? Or am I just, you know, could there be something else happening? What else could be true? I think is a thing I ask myself a lot. What else could be true? Because they could just be having a bad day as well. I have no idea what's going on in anyone else's life. We're all responding to the stories in our heads, and the have tos and the musts and the fear-based, you know, things about not good enough, not in control, all of those things. So we're all doing the best we can. So I've learnt not to make other people's actions, reactions mean anything about me. Does that mean that I don't look at myself and go, could you have done that better? Well, of course I do. All right. Because I also know that I'm not always resourceful all of the time. I mean, the other thing as well is just gratitude. I have so many things that are fantastic in my life. Why would I focus on the things that aren't? You know, I have, and like even today, I'm sitting on the Gold Coast and it's the most beautiful sunny day out there. That's enough. How lucky is that? Like, that's beautiful. Let that be my default. emotion rather than anger or irritation or resentment. I'd much rather have a default emotion that is going to make me feel good. So I guess, and the thing is, like with adrenaline and cortisol, I mean, we all know large amounts of adrenaline and cortisol in our bodies for large amounts of time create autoimmune diseases. It just makes us sick. So I am not going to poison myself anymore because I'm upset about what someone else is doing or someone else's deadlines. You know, if I'm working and I need to do have a deadline, of course, I'll meet it. And I'll do everything I can to see it as an adventure, something that is helping me get to somewhere else, especially if it's something I don't enjoy doing. All right, I go, okay, but this is on the road to what I want to do. It's not what I want to do. And just keep some sort of emotional neutrality, if that's the best I can do. Enjoyment, if I can get there. You know, it's all about keeping the adrenaline and cortisol for when I actually am in a fight or flight situation and not creating them around me. I guess that's the big thing that's changed.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Do you have an example of something recently or a situation or something where you had to use a technique or a process or something to bring you back into alignment or into a better place?
Yeah. So there are some people that, for whatever reason, it's really interesting. I did actually recognize what this was about. So there are some people who trigger me. I have all of this stuff bubble up and I couldn't really understand what it was. So a technique I use is, I sort of call it factual feeling. And I go, okay, I drop into my body and go, okay, what is this? And I try to leave the mind, so I try not to make up a story about it. I just go, oh, okay, there's real tension in my chest. There's butterflies in my stomach. There's this. If I was going to give it a name, it'd be resentment. Okay, for me, that's what I go, okay, resentment. Okay, what's this actually about? And then I'll go, okay, what's the story that created this? And the story is, okay, I wasn't listened to or I wasn't respected. And this is actually what happened when I was triggered by a phone call from someone I hadn't heard from for years. And then I went, what? Okay, so what is that actually about? And I went, oh, actually, what that is about is that I didn't stand up for myself. I didn't say what I needed to say. So that's actually on me. But then I got resentful that they didn't know what I needed, even though I didn't tell them. And so that trigger was still there. So what I do is I go to the feeling, then I go to the story, and then I go to, okay, what else could be true? And that's something that I do now whenever I'm triggered. So it's like, yeah, all right, I'm having a feeling. Clearly, I'm having a feeling because my mind has had a thought or something that's come through, some sort of trigger that has released all of these messages to my body. What is that actually about and what else could be true? So, yeah, that's, and it takes practice because I would have this trigger with this person all of the time. And I went, I don't understand why I keep having this. What is this actually about? And then I went, oh, sweetie, it's about you. What this is about is that deep down, you actually didn't stand up for yourself and you didn't say the things you needed to say. That's like, yeah, that's what this is about. So, yeah, it was about me putting in boundaries and hoping that someone else would put them in for me. So, surprise, surprise, now there's no trigger anymore, right?
With that understanding.
Yeah, it's gone. It's gone. Thank goodness. It's been years.
Yeah, time to go.
Yes, I don't need this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
But so powerful when you bring it back to yourself. You know, I'm uncomfortable or having an uncomfortable feeling about a situation or a person or whatever. But knowing you're the second person in this tennis match, and
Correct.
if you stop hitting the ball back, there's no more tennis match.
Correct, right? And it's like they are not actually responsible for how I feel. Right? It's not their fault I'm having this reaction. That's on me. That's my responsibility. So yeah, it's really powerful to know that that I'm the one that is responsible for how I feel. I mean, I can remember when my kids were young going, "Oh, don't make me angry." They're not making me angry. I'm choosing to be angry. I could choose something else, but in that moment, I was so unresourceful that that's all that there was. So yeah, no one can make us feel anything.
Absolutely. And we all feel those emotions. We all get angry. We all get frustrated and resentful. I think one of the big things that I learned through you and through this work was to not demonize my emotions. If I feel angry, it's like I feel angry for a reason. A boundary's being crossed. There's something that I'm putting up with that I probably shouldn't. And what part of this am I playing, and what part of this do I have the power to change?
Correct. That's the thing. We are meant to feel all the feelings because they're signposts. But what we're not really good at is, one, processing them, and then two, communicating them. And yet we're feeling machines, all right? We are feeling all day. And, wisdom from my mother, just push it down and bloody get on with it. That's not helpful. That's not helpful because the feeling's there to let me know that something's not aligned, right? Yeah. And the pushing it down didn't actually work long term. Yeah. So,
absolutely. And I find in that if there's no true healing from a pattern or a situation, you continue to recreate it in your life. You'll have the same relationship over and over again with a different person, or the same workplace over and over again, just with a different company. They'll come back and back until you sort of figure out how you're creating this pattern within yourself.
Correct. Like, even I have a really beautiful friend whose belief is that all the women she works with, all the women I've ever worked with have been bitches. I went, okay, that's not been my experience. All right. So what is the filter or the lens through which she's viewing the world? And then because we get what we expect to see. So if she's expecting that, then there will be something in her behavior, whether it's really defensive or whatever, that will allow her to see that all the women she works with are bitches. But, not the case at all. Well, not in my experience.
But that could be attracted to, if there's
correct.
Yeah.
But also we filter out what we don't expect to see, if that makes sense. And we filter in. I mean, we get presented with the world that we expect to see. And if you want to see something else, then you have to change those filters that are filtering that into your conscious. And that's also what this work is about. And language is a big one, changing beliefs like that. If she changed that belief, she would no longer think that, like, she would have evidence to show her that there are actually women she works with who are not bitches, for example.
How would she change that belief?
Well, a belief is something around which we have absolute certainty. All right. It's just an idea around which we have absolute certainty that it's always true all of the time. That's a belief. So if you can even find one example where that is not true, you start to diminish that. It's no longer a belief. It might be a really strong idea, but then the more you find ways to prove it wrong, what else could be true? Or what always? Has there been one time when that hasn't been true? Then it's no longer a belief because it's not absolute. And the other way, of course, is to do the processes that we do through training. But for example, I had a belief when I grew up that men don't like beetroot. I know it's insane, right? Because my dad didn't like beetroot. I know it's ridiculous, right? My uncle didn't eat beetroot, so men didn't eat beetroot. That was clear as day to me. That was my belief. So then I start dating at 16, and I'm making a hamburger for my boyfriend, and he said, "Where's the beetroot?" And I just turned to him and went, "Men don't like beetroot." And he looked at me as though I was insane. I looked at him like, "What's wrong with you?" All right. And while that is a really frivolous example, it's the same in everything we do. But you're not going to believe, once I saw that he ate beetroot, I saw men everywhere eating beetroot. Suddenly they just started eating beetroot. Like nuts. But that's what our beliefs are like. We just filter out what we don't expect to see.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until that belief was challenged that then new information started coming through to my conscious mind, and I saw men everywhere eating beetroot. Who knew? Apparently it's a thing. Yeah.
That's a great one.
I know, right?
I love it. One of a really obvious one is when you're looking for, the Nutella in the cupboard or something, and you're thinking, I can't find the Nutella. I can't find the Nutella.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not there. Someone else comes, it's right here, and it's in front of your face.
Yeah, correct, right? And because we are bombarded with so much information every second. It's something like, I think Joe Dispenza puts it at something like 40 million bits per second or something like that. Like, it's insane the amount of information that we are bombarded with every second. And our unconscious deletes and distorts and generalizes over 99% of that so that the conscious mind can cope. Which is why if you have two people reading the same book or watching the same movie and they have a discussion, you can both think that you've read or watched something completely different because you're filtering in and filtering out different aspects of the experience. Which is like, you hear this thing when people write memoirs and the families all get up in arms. That's not what happened. That's no, this, and it's like, well, for them, that is what happened. And it's as valid as what everyone else thinks happened, because we filter in and out different pieces of the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's so interesting. I find it so extraordinary what we can do. And even with, like, I have 4 sisters and we had very different ideas about what happened around different events. And it's like, well, no one's right and no one's wrong. We just all remember different aspects of it and we've put it through our filters. So whether you believe that you were always hard done by, or whether you believe someone was a favorite, or whether you believe, like, you'll remember what you expect to remember. And even our memories aren't fallible. Every time we pull them out and remember something and then we park it back again, we've changed it slightly. So yeah, nothing is absolute.
Absolutely. It changes the world that you live in. If the world's a dangerous and scary place, or if the world's sort of a wonderful place where you've got the opportunity to be curious and explore. And
yeah. And that is the change that this work has happened. I used to be terrified of the unknown and try and control everything. And now I am so excited by it that I love the idea that anything's possible. Like, okay, well, how wild is that? Like, you just literally, you don't know what's coming. Like, that is the best gift life can give us. And once upon a time, that would have terrified me. I much prefer living like this because it feels so much more expansive.
Absolutely. I remember I have a great example of the finding something in front of my nose. I went to Thailand for a holiday once and I thought to myself, I ran out of zinc sunscreen and I thought, I'll never find this in Thailand. So every pharmacy I went to didn't have it. And I went to one and I was looking and they didn't have it again. I looked all over the sunscreen section I thought, oh, I'll never find this in Thailand. And then I just thought to myself, not with that attitude, like, oh, belief. And it's like, of course I'll find this in Thailand. Like, I'm in the right place. It has to be here. And I looked again, and there was one left on the bottom shelf behind this other sunscreen. And I was like, there it is. Of course it is. Change the belief. You're in the right place. Not, I can never find this here.
Correct. And doesn't that, it just happens time and time and time again, you know, and that same thing can happen with money or, you know, anything that if you honestly believe it's never coming, that you can't have it, that it's not going to happen, well, you're right. Right. But if you believe, if you can change that belief and go, well, it's possible, anything's possible, who knows? Well, then you're also right. So for me, it's like, well, which would I prefer? And I'm much more comfortable now in the uncertainty because that's the adventure. Yeah. And just going, no, it's coming. Of course it is. Of course the sunscreen will be there. Hello. Yeah. You're not the first person in Thailand who needed zinc sunscreen.
Yes. So, Kat, can you take me back and explore what got you into this work, and what sort of made you start this journey?
Pain. The same reason most people start this journey. I am feeling that there was no other option. All right. So I had my marriage broke down after 30 years. I was in my early 50s and just couldn't see a way out. Like everything felt like it had crashed down. I had so much fear. And I was barely functioning. I would go to bed every night hoping that I wouldn't wake up in the morning, and then I'd wake up and be just so desperate because I didn't know how I was going to get through the day. I didn't want to get through the day because there was nothing. I was so lost and confused. And my son then said to me, well, I had a property from the settlement, and he goes, Mum, why don't we develop this property? So we found a property mentoring group, and through there, they had a guest speaker, and I actually heard about this work. And at the time, I was sitting there and I'm going, and like she was saying that those hooks and anchors that keep you stuck in the past, you can actually release yourself from them and move forward without all the baggage. And I was like, I don't even know if this is true, but I've got nothing else and I have to give this a go. And so I did. And at the time when I went into it, it was absolutely just for me to find a way to move forward. It was totally about me. And what I discovered as I was doing this work was that it lit some sort of fire within me. And that when I had worked through this work, and the beautiful thing with the trainings is that probably 85% of people who go to the courses do it for themselves. But the way they're structured, you also get this certification in coaching. And at the end of it, I had it. And it just felt that this is where I was called to do this work. So I started the coaching, and then I was offered the opportunity to actually run those programs myself and run the training programs, which has become like a bigger passion for me. And then from that, like literally hundreds of people have gone through and are qualified as coaches. And, you know, out of those people, it's then what? Now, how do I start a business? How do I become a trader? How do I do blah, blah, blah? And so then that has been for me my passion, because I can only, as a coach and trainer, work with, say, this many people. But if I can teach people how to run their own businesses and shine themselves, well, then that expands even further. And the influence that I can have is leveraged so that more people can do the work. And so that's where my passion is now in doing that. And previously, I've probably run my own business now for over 30 years. Completely different industry. So it was very interesting starting again in an industry where I had no contacts. I knew nothing about it. All I knew how to do was set up a business. So that was, not easy. I could have made stories up about that. And here we are. So yeah.
I love that. So if people are interested in doing this work, if they feel like it can help them, what would be a good place for them to go to find some help?
All right. Well, certainly log on to Catalyst for Coaches, which is my website, and reach out. Just reach out so that we can have a chat. And whether they want to do the work just themselves, because also what I have is this beautiful cache of coaches, so that even if somebody's not working with me, I can certainly share contacts for people that they can work with. And if they want to do more intensive work, then they can do the 3-day workshops. If they want to actually do this for a career change and do something completely different, well, then there's the trainings. There's so much that is really powerful in all of this. And it's all there. It's all there.
Beautiful. So if someone's not sure, you'd be definitely the person to go to point them in the right direction. And
correct. And what I love is I see that, I'm not there just to get people to come and work with me. I honestly want people to get what will help them transform their lives. And as you know, like there's many, many coaches with many different areas of expertise, and it can be a minefield trying to figure it out yourself. So Catalyst for Coaches, I said to Jess, who's my business partner, as you know, and my daughter as well, is that we should have called it Catalyst Hub for Coaches, because we are creating it as this one-stop place. So no matter where you are in your journey or what you want, we can help filter the noise and help you find a way to get what it is that you need. So that's where I'm at now.
Beautiful, beautiful. I know you've got some other projects and things you're working on. What else are you working on at the moment?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So we have, Jess and I last year were asked to create an inner work program for a new charity called SOSI that works with single mums. And they offer the program for these single mums so that their goal is to stop that generational trauma and help people become really resourceful so that then they can support their kids in the best possible way. So that has been, for the last 18 months, that's been quite a big, huge thing. And we've sort of now handed that over. They've got their program manager. Now I'm working with a community legal centre, working with their staff on a monthly basis with one-on-one programs, because their staff deal with so much trauma. And what we're looking at doing is then creating the program and then providing coaches to provide that work for more not-for-profits and community legal centres and whatever else is available, so that people just become better resourced. We also run events for coaches to help them sort their content or sort their message or find the right language to share what they do, because in my experience, 90% of your clients will come through referral. All right, people get really hung up about socials, and you need socials. You 100% need socials, more for social proof. All right. Someone will hear about you and they'll go to your socials to find out a bit more. But being able to talk effectively around what you do and who you help so that you can speak to your family and friends, while they won't become your clients, they'll know people who will be, and so that's a big part of what we do as well. And we're creating a series of 6-week intensives that also have the option of one-on-one work with either Jess, who is a brand manager extraordinaire, or me in terms of creating programs that can help people do that. Because, if you need an electrician, or if you need a builder, a doctor, a dry cleaner, you ask people for referrals. Who do you know? Right? Now, we need to, as coaches, be able to speak freely about what we do, and also knowing that the mental health industry, if you like, is in crisis, and wait times are so long, and people in crisis are not being helped. Now, we are not mental health professionals, but we are complementary therapists, and we can be a bit of a stopgap if that's what's required, or working alongside psychologists and psychiatrists and counselors can really help amplify the journey as well, and the speed of recovery. So yeah, all of that's what we're doing.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah, wanting people to talk about what it is that they do, because there are a lot of coaches who don't know how to start.
Yes, absolutely. Particularly, it's a whole new field, new business, new everything. Can be very overwhelming.
Yeah. And I mean, even now when you say, well, what do you do? And I train people, they go, yeah. And as you said, what's an inner work coach? Yeah. Yeah. So it's not well known, and it's not. And I've been doing this for a very long time. And even now people go, you do what? Like, I don't, yeah. And even my husband said the other day, can you just write down what it is that you do so that when people ask me, I can tell them?
Yeah, we need to do sometimes.
So, yeah. So getting the message straight is critical, Yeah. Understanding how to become visible, critical. Yeah. All the things. So that's where the focus is, to help people shine their light.
Beautiful. What could be a barrier to somebody stepping into this work or starting, do you think?
Who am I? Who am I to do this? I haven't got my life sorted. How can I help anyone else? Like imposter syndrome? Huge. And it's like, you don't have to have your life sorted, but the area of work that you want to work on is something that you have worked through and transformed in your life. And I always say to people who feel called to this work, because not everyone does, not everyone wants to be an inner work coach, that if you're called to it, you're called to it because there are people who need to hear from you. And if you're not visible, and if you're not speaking, and if you're not sharing that you are available to do this work, then those people probably aren't going to do it, because it's your voice that they need to hear. Because this work is really, to work with someone, you really need to connect and trust with them, because you do go deep. This is where you are held and supported to work through the stuff that's not working in your life. So that it's really important that everyone who's called to it can be out there and sharing how they do it. And the reality is, for most people, there's already, their friends and family would already know 6 to 10 to 20 people out there somewhere in the fringes who could do the work with that coach. It's just a matter of getting your message across. And believe, and not and just understanding that you don't have to have everything together, because just the bit that you have transformed in your life that you're really called to help other people transform in theirs.
Mm.
Because life is life, all right? We're co-creating our existence with 8 billion other people and Mother Nature. Life's not always going to be rosy. Stuff's always going to go down. That's okay. That's okay. Mm.
Mm. Absolutely. I think we think sometimes and get stuck in this, I have to be perfect or fully healed or, this enlightened soul or whatever it is before we can actually do anything of value or help others or, but that's more stories,
More stories, all right? More stories.
Person,
No. And that's why I couldn't help everybody, because there are some things where I'm still stuck in the wound. I haven't healed it yet. So how can I help someone else heal it if I haven't? But there are so many things that I have healed, so that gives me the power to then stand in that and sort of shine the light and go, well, this is the journey I took. This is my understanding of this. You don't have to take that journey by any means, but I also have all these other tools and techniques that will help you find your journey through that. But I'm an example of what can happen when you get to the other end of it. So yeah, we all get there in our own way. But yeah.
Had some good advice. There's more than one right way to do things, and that's so true. And we can get so caught in the way that we do it or did it, and other people have a different path, but that path is just as valid.
100%. How can I be the expert in someone else? I mean, there are times I'm not even the expert in me. All right. And I have to sit there and go, what is actually going on here? All right. What I'm the expert in is these techniques. And yeah, I have a lot of experience with this as well. So that the client is always the expert in them. They know what's going on for them. They can speak to me and tell me, and I will interpret those words and come up with an idea of what's happening for them. It might not be completely accurate. So yeah, to assume that I know best would be a huge mistake.
There was somebody I follow, Daniel Priestley. He says this, he goes, you're already standing on a mountain of value, but you can't see the mountain you're standing on because you're looking at these other mountains.
Correct, right? Yeah, and it is that thing, run your own race, right? Yeah. That comparison is the death of any creativity and initiative. And if you're comparing, you can't take a chance and you can't have your own adventure. No one is going to do this the way you do it, and you can't do it the way anyone else does it. You can certainly model people and go with those bits that appeal to you, right? And go, oh yeah, I really like the way that they do that. I'm going to try that. Great. And even in the trying that, though, you will interpret it in a way that works best for you, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Do you have some final words of wisdom for somebody who might be listening? They might be interested in coaching, they might not be, or just looking to sort of self-improve and help themselves through whatever they might be going through right now. What would you might say to them?
Do it. Do it, right? There's always a way. If you feel called, then that's the adventure, all right? Step into the unknown and have the adventure, because I promise you what's on the other side of that is going to be extraordinary. So listen to your gut, your heart, probably listen less to your mind, because that's where all the stories come, but your heart and your gut, and just do it, because it's so extraordinary what happens, how life changes. Even though nothing physically may change around you, everything changes. It's, yeah, so powerful.
Rather than just going in circles and circles and circles and getting dizzy.
Right? Yeah, and listen to, I mean, it's not easy. If you don't know anyone, all right, it's not easy, because if you do then hit socials trying to find, or Google trying to find someone, it's just overwhelming. It's absolutely overwhelming. So talk to people, try and connect. Like, honestly, even if you connect with us at Catalyst, we will direct you to other places, because yeah, it's not easy. It is the Wild West. It's like, where do I start? Mm,
Yeah,
mm.
definitely. And everyone's got their own sort of specialty and niche and person that they are best, qualified and passionate to help. And finding
Correct.
that person is sometimes a little bit tricky in the maze in the forest.
Yeah, and don't give up if you've spoken to one person and you didn't have any rapport with them. Don't then just throw everything away and go, oh, this stuff doesn't work. It does work. You just didn't connect with the person that you spoke with. So keep going, and the right person always comes. The door always opens.
Beautiful. So what platforms are you on, Kat? Where can people find you?
Okay, so Catalyst for Coaches is on Insta. It is on Facebook. Jess is updating our LinkedIn, and we are certainly, we have the website. The 4 is a numerical 4 on the website, catalystforcoaches.com. Yeah, they can certainly track us down there.
Awesome.
Or if they want to just email, it's hello@catalystforcoaches.com. Mm. Totally like looking forward to just helping people find their path.
Perfect. I've got one last one before I go. What's your big goal and big vision for the future?
My big vision is to create a space where it becomes like literally a hub, where it becomes possible to come and sort through and find the person you want to work with. I also want to, because currently anyone can call themselves a coach. And that I find really frustrating, because there's no sort of professional standards. So I would love to see, and I guess if I want to see it, I have to create it, a place where there are professional standards, so that if someone is in this sphere, whether it's an organization, a group, whatever, a professional association, that these people have trained and that they have some sort of peer supervision to maintain their level of expertise. And so that you can go there knowing that you're getting a coach who has walked the walk and is definitely someone who can help you. So that's the big goal. Don't know how, and that's the adventure, all right? I believe that if the goal's there, then the journey will happen. But that's the big one, is to ultimately make this something that is easy to navigate, where you're getting somebody who's qualified and well qualified, that they keep their professional standard, and that, how cool would it be if we could even get on some sort of rebate like other complementary therapists?
Perfect. I love it.
So that's the goal.
Yeah, sounds amazing. I look forward to watching that journey and for it all to unfold. Well, thank you, Kat. I really appreciate you jumping on with me today and having a chat and sharing what you do, because I really think it's amazing. You have inspired and helped me quite a lot in my own journey, and I appreciate you for that. And
I am so loving watching you just get out there. It's extraordinary.
But yes, a wise lady. I'll say it again.
Thank you.
Awesome. Keep doing the work you do, because it's helping so many people. It's helping coaches, it's helping individuals, and it's really transforming lives. It's magical, and it's amazing work.
Thank you. Thank you.